In the previous video that I posted a few days ago where I was creating an AI solution for local business live, I said that you can post your problem in the comments, a client that you're trying to present the solution to or the offer that you're thinking, and I can help you to build it up, structure everything, understand how to go about creating the solution, how to price it, how to package it, and all these things. And same relevant for this video. If you go in the comments, post anything and I'll answer. Now, if we go to the comment section, we have, I believe, only one comment for the video that is related to the AI offerings. So Adam said, thanks for your content, Eugene. I'm talking to a big chain of dental clinics throughout Canada. They're looking for an AI solution and want to pitch them and want me to pitch them different ideas. Can you help? What is the best offer to start with? Now, what you need to understand is that, okay, so I really like the fact that it's the dental space. I like the fact, so dental, it is Canada. So the Canada, I mean, Canada is great. I was about to say that the market is smaller than the US in terms of everything. Thus, there is less competition. But because the AI agency space, AI offerings are very new, there's almost literally like zero competition right now. The hardest part is to get the interest. So somehow Adam was managed to get in front of the prospect. I'd love to know how. If you can share it, Adam, in the comments. But basically the idea is that, like, if you think about this, let's say it probably was not a cold outreach, or maybe it was. So let's say that was kind of some sort of a connection, internal connection, right? So it was through the internal connection. So what do we know? Like, let's start from the very beginning. Let's say that somehow the company got interested in the AI, or you know that this company can potentially use AI, but right now most of the companies can, and that they are interested, okay? They do not have any idea on how exactly they're going to use it. Obviously, they may have a lot of thoughts because there's so much information circulating around the market of like different solutions here and there that you can potentially build and that can skyrocket your business and whatever. Your goal would be to remove the noise and focus on something specific that you can start with. I do believe that you need to show the entire world and tell them that what's possible, what are the limitations and all these things. But you need to be able to make them say yes faster and make them to commit to something fast. Now, of course, we also, let me screenshot that, we also need to understand that because it is, Adam says, is a big chain, whatever it means that they are probably, so the offer cycle will be longer, but you want to start with something, okay? Usually, if it's a big chain, because it's dental, from my experience, and you guys probably feel the same way depending on the country where you live, but usually it's the same. Like, usually dental, like, clinics are busy, like, usually. So this is the good thing, because when you're dealing with AI, you can either like save time or make them more money. When they're like saving time, that's great, okay? Making more money is also great. It's easier to sell, but making more money, it's either on the marketing side or in the sales side. So most companies want to go into the marketing. They need to get the eyeballs, they need to get the visits. But when we're working with big chain, probably this is not the question. So I like it because marketing is for marketing agencies, not for AI agencies that use AI for marketing. Okay, so we either can focus on sales or in saving time, but because the nature of the local business, I would say that it goes hand in hand. The most obvious, so let's actually let's review a few potential services. These are not yet offers, so potential services that we're talking about. So the first one is AI, like let's say front desk agent. Okay, front desk agent. So AI receptionist. This one is receiving the calls, right? So the calls, maybe the emails, SMS. Not sure, depending on the on their structure. Now, if it is, by the way, which is very important to consider, if it is a big company with the brand, most of them are not. So, and the brand means that they have a social presence and they get the clients through that. So it's like socials, and usually it's going to be Instagram. And again, so there's like usually they're not there. So they might run ads on the Facebook, but they're not like actively posting content or creating interesting videos, right? So okay, so these are potentially all the inquiries where you can get the messages from all the channels, okay? So this is the front desk agent. Now, so the problem, there's like a pros and cons for each one of the solution, and obviously it's easier to pitch in terms of, it's not easier to sell, but it's easier to pitch, saying, hey, you have, for like 3 receptionists, or like you have 1 receptionist per clinic. We can create your like the entire system, and you'll have probably like I'm not sure if you would have one number for all of them. Probably not. So you'd have like separate. Again, if they're brand aware, they have probably like one number and then route based on the location. If they're like more kind of random franchisee type of the thing, probably gonna be different numbers. Anyways, so let's say that it's easier to sell, say like, hey, we can literally handle all your calls. It is very hard to go into this with the development with a big corp, like with a larger corp. And like again, so I'm talking from the experience. You would want to start with like one location for sure, and you would able to present it to them, right, through the demo. And you should for sure, like again, so we're talking about the demo and the offer a bit later, but what I'm saying is that it's harder. Like it's harder. I think this is the stage 2 probably of your partnership, like the front desk agent, because this is not necessarily fixing the immediate problem, because yeah, sure, if they have an influx of inbound calls and emails and they cannot handle it, yes, then this is the number 1 priority. But if we think about like most of the companies, this is not the case. So now what's then? The show up rate is huge. They are like losing so much money on the table when people are like forgetting about the appointments, when they're not showing up, when they forgot to cancel. And usually there are people like calling you and like reminding about the appointments, or the SMS reminder systems. Now this works, but you need to understand, like, it depends on the company and how tech savvy they are. So what I'm thinking is the follow-up and engagement agent. Okay, so the follow-up and the engagement agent will increase the show-up rate. It's very easy for you to quantify this type of the thing in numbers and say, again, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the industry, so you can say, you can calculate how much people waste on for people not showing up to the appointments, right? So you can actually like really calculate this number, and you can say, okay, if we are going to say that like $100, it's like how much you're paying to the doctors, to everything. Just like, or like 50, probably now, like $50 you're losing on one. And let's say if you lose like 2 per day and X like 30, so this is the amount that you're losing, like 3K, which is not that much, a month. And you would say if you have 10 branches, you're losing, like what? Like 30K a month. Now this becomes more interesting. So technically, you can say, hey, we're gonna like integrate this like follow-up sales system for you and an engagement system that is going to follow up like cool SMS the people and email them, so all in one, respond to the questions, handle the reschedules and cancellations right away. You're gonna connect it to their system and say like, yeah, and we can build it for you for like $10,000, which is gonna be which is gonna be covered by, and let's say, so okay, no, let's say you will increase this from like a certain percentage, so you would like cut it by 3, so you would improve this by so you would save them 10K, so you would improve them by 30%, which is like not crazy amount, which is very doable depending again on how tech savvy they are. It's like you're saving them 10K a month. Now, what we guys need to understand, that it's very important when you're like starting to work with bigger companies, they might not care about this. Like this is not the type of the number that they care about if we're talking about like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it depends. So maybe this is very casual, like $50, like maybe put it like $100 or $200 and put it not too for like whatever. So you can calculate this number and you can add different parameters and say, hey, yeah, we're gonna charge you for like a month one like 10K, and then we're gonna like develop this system, and if it doesn't work, if it doesn't improve your show up rate by 30%, we're gonna refund you the money. This is the not negotiable offer, and I think this is a great way for you to get in front of them and start showing the results. The third thing that I was in, like, I'll explain why I'm going to the third one. So the third thing is what I'm thinking is the database reactivation. Again, it's more about the actual traffic and the leads and making money. It's like basically you will make them more money by reactivating their prospects. But now when it comes to dental, usually, so if you think about this, it's either database reactivation or the win-back agent. So the win-back, it's more like when you have already a customer, right? So when you have, these are the leads that did not go to the next step, right? So they fill out the form, they book an appointment, they are in the system, but they haven't go to the next step, and these are the customers. So for the leads, sure, but if you're like reactivating the leads that have been in the system for like 2, 4, 6 months, they probably fix their issues with teeth. Maybe they don't. So I would say it's worth trying, and building a voice AI agent that is gonna call them and say, hey guys, you've been interested in our services, so have you find the solution? It's really gonna work if you have the notes about the customer. But again, it depends. Like technically, what you can do, I saw one of the license holders within the one prompt that we have, by the way, link in the description, if you don't want to build this system from scratch, and if you want to get the solution that already work, and you can copy in paste to all of these businesses and license and resell it multiple times and build a productized services around it and scalable business, link in the description. Okay, what I was saying is that there was like a guy who built the thing where like they had an inbound caller like system. They were receiving the calls, and all the calls had like a transcript to the calls, and these were like, and it was automatically synced to the CRM. So what he did, he exported the dead leads from the CRM, which is easy to do, but these dead leads had within the custom field, they had a transcript of the call. And it's now this agent is calling based on this transcript, based on what the people were asking about. So I do really like this offer, but the problem is that it is probably like the second or third stage, because it's not guaranteed to work. Like there are so many factors, and anyone who ever done database reactivation, they'll tell you that. So it's like, there are so many things to consider. Same thing with the win-back. Win-back is a bit different because like there's customers, and usually if you know that the customer needs to visit the doctor within a certain period, yeah, sure, you can have a follow-up, but you're charging money. So depending on the business, this could work. And when the customer like visit them, uh, they can set up, some sort of a trigger with their system, and then it will pop up in your system, and then we'll try to follow up and re-engage with them after and kind of win them back. Or if they're like customers already in the system for a few years, and you can analyze these customers with the kind of the services, the care that they received, and based on this care say, hey, you were like visiting us a few years ago, so how's your teeth, or something like that. Like a random. What I was saying is that these are directly involved into the like money making, and it's very hard to kind of show the results. Like it's like here, it's very easy, very straightforward, and I would suggest you to do that, because like if you're not gonna show the result here, they're not gonna go here or here or here. But if you're gonna show the result here, if you go here, you'll not show the result. Technically, they can say, yeah, sure, like it's probably the bad, the bad. They will not blame you. They will blame the solution and the technical thing. Do you understand what I mean? So this is very important. This is, by the way, I think the most important hack out of everything. Yeah, sure. So for the broke businesses, it's much easier to sell this, because these are directly involved in how much money the business is making. But because you're talking about kind of the bigger corp, this one would be the priority, then this one, and then this one, and then this one. So it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, on the call, I would say you need to present, say, hey, these are like, create a presentation, literally copy my mirror and like do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. You'd want to build it, like build it in down, build in the voice caller for sure. Even if you're building this, build in the voice caller and say, hey, this could be the front desk agent. Build something like, as we are showing on the one prompt, you can see the video on our page. Even if you don't want to get the license, get the high level, build it up. Say that you're not replacing their CRM, you're just building the system. And then database reactivation, build it like, you don't need to build the outbound caller here, so just the caller and just something that will respond to the SMS and say that it's going to be connected to their email, and if they have Instagram, to Instagram, and that's it. And say, but because these are 4 solutions, I advise you to actually build the follow-up, because this will directly show you the result and how confident we are in providing you the great service. So this is how much money you will save. So let's start with a prototype. Pay us $500, we'll develop you the thing based on your data, and then you'll pay us $5K for the development and $5K after it's done. So this would be your offer. Now guys, as I said, because Adam did not mention that he has a problem with the technical aspect, I'm not going to cover it in this video. I will answer to everything. If you don't have any questions, okay, I guess you know everything. But if you're potentially closing client, if you're in the talk, if you're not sure how to figure out some things, post in the comments. I will answer. Thanks for watching. Peace.